Hi, I'm Michaela Swales. I'm the Director of Training at British Isles DBT Training, and I'm also a Professor of Clinical Psychology at Bangor University. I spent the last 25 years, maybe a bit longer of my career, training people within the NHS to deliver DBT within the context of a range of services across the UK. One of the things that often comes up, though, is that services struggle to make a case for their continued funding, and also often people are wondering, is this an effective treatment actually in routine practice with the kinds of clients that we see? And so we've set up at British Isles DBT an opportunity where you can actually benchmark the outcomes from your service against both randomised control trial outcomes, but also against peers, other teams like you who are checking on their outcomes and ensuring that the work that they're doing is really effective for their clients. And so this little 5-minute presentation is just going to introduce you to benchmarking, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to persuade you that this is something that you and your team should look into spending some time to develop. So, first of all, modern healthcare is predicated really on the idea that treatments that are efficacious in randomised control trials or are talked about in NICE guidance and other government published documents should be delivered in routine practice. And yet, I'm sure that you know as a clinician in routine practice that transferring these treatments to routine practice isn't at all easy, and that managing that transition is quite a challenge. There are lots of concerns that you will have about that. For example, are the clients in my service the same as the clients in these trials that have been conducted in research settings? Are therapists trained in the same way? Have I had access and my team had access to the same sort of training that people would have in a trial? The organisational contexts are often different. Some of these research studies have been done in university contexts, or at least have been well resourced financially. And the other thing is that in a research study, there's a lot of support for doing the treatment according to the best possible standard, to do the treatment adherently. And so those contexts are not always the same in routine practice. And so legitimately, people wonder, are these treatments as good in routine practice as they are in the research trials? So one way we can really assess that is we can actually benchmark, we can assess whether our outcomes are similar or different from those research publications. And you might be thinking, well, why on earth would we do that? Well, from a clinical perspective, it helps us to reflect on our service and our outcomes. Are our clients improving? If not, why not? And can we learn from or assist other teams like us? So whatever we find out, if we find actually our clients are doing well, that's useful information. And also we might be able to use that to support other teams. If we find that we're deviating in some way from those outcomes, then we can think, why is that? And can we do something about it? We can also contribute to research that might be relevant. We can contribute to the evidence base by collecting routine outcomes in practice. We can then use that data at a bigger level to feed back into orienting our clients to what they're likely to expect in terms of outcomes from joining our programme. And together, as a community, we can consider what factors might assist or hinder good clinical outcomes. So if we're going to do this benchmarking, essentially it's a kind of auditing against a standard. We have to think about what we're going to benchmark against. Well, there are two things. One is the gold or ideal standard, and this is benchmarking against the outcomes obtained in randomised control trials and effectiveness studies, which I've mentioned already. And this helps us to understand if there's a gap in transfer to routine practice. But we can also benchmark against our peers, and this is probably one of the things that's most interesting from an NHS point of view. So that's benchmarking against other programmes that are like us, similar size, similar clients. And it helps us consider what we might have to learn from others to improve our outcomes. And both of these methods provide us with information that we can share to benefit our programme. If we're going to do this, of course, we have to think carefully about what measures to use. And this is always challenging. You may well have discovered that often people don't always agree about what are good measures to use. But we've chosen 3 measures which have various advantages, not least of which they are validated measures and also they are free to access. These are the EQ5D, which measures health-related quality of life, this is a very important measure for us in DBT programs. Many of our clients actually feel that their life isn't worth living, and the EQ5D actually can capture this. It actually has a measure where clients can score where the quality of life is less than being dead. And so it's a really excellent measure for the kinds of clients that we work with. So the EQ5D, the DERS, the Difficulties in Emotion Regulation Scale, which, as we know in DBT, we're often really trying to improve our clients' capacity to regulate emotions. And then the BSL, the Borderline Symptom List, which essentially captures the range of symptoms that many clients might experience in a DBT program. All of these measures have research evidence for their reliability. They are sensitive to change with the clients who we tend to treat in our programs, who are people who get this label of borderline personality disorder. They're easy to apply and interpret, and as I mentioned, cost-free and available. So we've developed a benchmarking website which allows you to routinely collect your data from your program, and you'll be able to see what your outcomes are looking like. Now, some of you might be kind of just thinking right there for a moment, that sounds like it might have some challenges associated with it. And you might be wondering, is this research, for example? I just want to say that this is not research. We're not actually doing research. We have no research questions. What we are trying to do is a national audit of DBT programs, and also allow local programs to audit their own programs against a national standard. And so if you are going to participate in this, you will need information. You will need permission from your Information Governance Department for that, and we have a range of resources to help you in applying for that. But on the website, we can help you collect the data, and we have a whole suite of resources to help you actually collect the data, including a range of videos helping you to do that, helping you to send unique links to each of your clients so that they can complete their measures, which will automatically be loaded up to the website. So there's none of that paper and pencil thing, it's automatically done. So we have a whole range of resources to help you with that, which I'm not going to spend time on now because you can easily access those from our website. But what I want to just briefly show you before we finish is what the website will show you. So, for example, here we've got some graphs that, and these are generated data by us for confidentiality reasons, but these graphs look at the number of clients in programs, the mean scores at admission, and mean scores at discharge. And what you can see here in these bar charts is each bar represents a single team. The black line represents your team relative to the other teams, and so you can kind of see how similar your team is to other teams across the UK. And that just gives you a bit of a sense of how your system is comparable or not to the rest of the UK teams. Once you've started collecting data, you'll be able to see things like this. This is a reliable change graph. This helps you to look at your clients in your program and see which of them are making progress and which of them are not. So in this graph here, all of the light green sort of turquoise triangles to the right of the graph, these are all clients who are making significant improvement in treatment. And right at the bottom, those dark green circles, those are clients who've improved so much that they have, in a sense, they're back into the normal range that people would have if they had no symptoms and weren't in services. The people who are yellow in the middle between those red lines, those are people who aren't changing. And the people with orange diamonds, they are deteriorating. And so by looking at these graphs, and when you look at them for your service, you're able to see who these people are. We can't see that from where we're looking, but you will be able to see that. You'll be able to think about, what do the people who are improving have in common? What do the people who are deteriorating have in common? So that you can start to think about what you might need to do to adjust your service to get better outcomes for your clients. You'll also be able to print off graphs for individual clients so you can share that with them so they can see their own progress. You'll also be able to, again, compare yourself against other teams. So these graphs here show the range of performance in terms of improvement that clients are showing in DBT programs across the UK. And the little sort of white circles is your team. And you can see, is your team doing better than other teams, or worse, or about the same? And also you can compare that against the effectiveness and RCT studies. You can see that in the bar chart on the right-hand side. Now, this is just a whistle-stop tour of what this can do for you. But what it will really help you to do is to see, how is my program performing? Who is doing well? Who is not doing well? What can we understand from that? How can we learn from other teams to be able to boost our performance or help those clients not doing so well? Teams who are involved and are participating already in benchmarking, we meet quarterly to discuss what we're finding and to think together about how we can really develop our practice. And we are very much looking forward to having you join with us in that endeavour. If you want more information, you can contact Julieta Azevedo on this email here, or you can contact us at the help desk at DBT Benchmarking. I hope this has enthused you about starting to benchmark your DBT programme.